What Mercedes just did to Hamilton, after new evidence emerged, changes everything. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Lewis Hamilton replacement signs Mercedes contract with announcement expected imminently. A report suggests that Lewis Hamilton's replacement, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, has already signed a contract with Mercedes, and the announcement will be made during the Italian Grand Prix weekend at Monza. This development follows team principal Toto Wolff's expressed determination to bring Antonelli on board, even delaying a decision on Ferrari's Carlos Sainz to ensure the right candidate was chosen. With Sainz's move to Williams confirmed just before the summer break, Antonelli emerged as the clear frontrunner for the Mercedes seat, solidifying his future with the team. Wolff initially set his sights on securing Red Bull driver Max Verstappen for the next season, especially given Red Bull's internal turmoil and the departure of key figures like Chief Technical Officer Adrian Newey. However, as the likelihood of luring Verstappen diminished, Wolff turned his focus to the promising talent of Antonelli, ultimately signing him for the upcoming season. Kimi Antonelli has rapidly established himself as a future star, having clinched multiple junior championships before advancing to F2. Despite a challenging start to the season with the struggling Prema team, his talent has shown through in recent weeks, securing victories at both the British and Hungarian Grand Prix. These breakthrough victories were preceded by an intensive testing program with Mercedes, where the Italian driver honed his skills in the team's 2021 and 2022 F1 cars. Antonelli's extensive runs at iconic circuits like Imola and Silverstone were part of a deliberate strategy to prepare him for a potential F1 debut. According to a report by the Italian publication Autosprint, as cited by PlanetF1.com, Antonelli has already secured a contract to race for Mercedes next season. The team is expected to make the official announcement just before the Italian Grand Prix on September 1st. Wolff has instilled great faith in the 17-year-old driver for a long time, and he even went on to call him a calculated risk for the team. Citing McLaren's driver Oscar Piastri's example, the Mercedes team boss told Autosport World, "So I'm happy to take a risk with Antonelli, because it's a calculated risk. If you look at the progress of Oscar Piastri, it took him a year and a half to compete for victory at the level of teammate Lando Norris. We want to try and do the same with Kimi. In 2025, with the changes in 2026, we'll be in transition anyway. So it's a good season to form him into our team." Hamilton, who moves to Ferrari in 2025, also voted to have Antonelli as the next Mercedes driver. Speaking at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, he told the media, "Honestly, I have no idea what Toto's plans are. But for me, taking on a youngster would be the right move. If it was my job, my role, I'd probably take on Kimi." Just as February began in 2024, it was announced Lewis Hamilton will join Ferrari in 2025. After a long period at Mercedes, together with Toto Wolff, the Austrian team principal now has to fill the hole left by the 7-time world champion. Replacing a world champion that won 6 drivers' titles and another 8 constructors' championships is never easy. But Lewis Hamilton now only has 10 Grands Prix left, driving a Mercedes car in Formula One. Moreover, Hamilton is one of the most globally well-known sports people. Lewis is not just a driver, he's an icon on multiple levels. It's clear for us that Mercedes F1 team in the sport gets more media coverage just because of Lewis. Toto Wolff told Formula Deutsche about the importance of having Hamilton at the team, also outside of the track. After not winning a single Grand Prix from the 2021 Saudi Arabian GP until this year's race at Silverstone, the 7-time world champion then went on to claim in P1 at Spa for the second time already in 2024. As a result, he is the only multiple-time Grand Prix winner this season alongside Max Verstappen. The Mercedes CEO and team principal will miss having the Briton at his team, but answered mysteriously about the team's future. A new era will start for Mercedes. I don't know yet who will be the next era's important drivers, and I also can't tell whether we will as successful as we hope to be. The second story won't surprise me if Verstappen drives for Mercedes in 2026. They don't want to speak of an exodus at Red Bull Racing, but the fact is that the second keystone piece of Max Verstappen's team is about to leave in a short time. After Adrian Newey, sporting director Jonathan Wheatley is also quitting. Eddie Jordan therefore still thinks the three-time world champion is considering a move to Mercedes in the future. Admittedly, a good number of technical leaders extended their contracts this year. Pierre Wache, Enrico Balbo, Ben Waterhouse, and Paul Monaghan all signed new commitments, but it hasn't completely removed the turmoil at Red Bull. These men failed to ensure that Red Bull's RB20 remained the fastest car in the F1 field. The turmoil at Red Bull and the departure of Adrian Newey and Jonathan Wheatley cannot please Max and his father. Moreover, Mercedes are moving in the right direction and are getting stronger. I would therefore be anything but surprised if Max switches to Mercedes in 2026, Jordan told German F1 Insider. Verstappen has already failed to win 4 races in a row in Formula One. The last time that happened was in 2020. The Dutchman expressed his displeasure several times in recent weeks about the performance and also the attitude of personnel within the team. According to the Dutchman, people needed to wake up. On top of that, the updates in Hungary did not give the hoped-for time gains, leaving Red Bull facing a tough second half of the season. Whether Verstappen is actually a candidate for Mercedes in 2026 remains to be seen. For next season, Toto Wolff looks set to opt for young Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and George Russell will also still be in the W16 then. With good performances from both, it will be difficult to show either of them the door to allow Verstappen's arrival, although Wolff is a big fan of the Dutchman. For Verstappen, a switch after next season could be interesting. The new engine regulations come into play then, and the Germans have proven in the past that they can interpret new power source rules well. Red Bull are building their own engine for the first time, in partnership with Ford. Mercedes is facing challenges with its W15 car as it competes against Red Bull and McLaren. Despite some recent performance improvements, the team's trackside engineering director has pointed out that the car still has significant flaws that hinder its speed compared to the leading competitors. The Canadian Grand Prix was a highlight for Mercedes, with George Russell finishing third. Since then, both Russell and Lewis Hamilton have consistently placed in the top 3, including 2 wins for Hamilton at Silverstone and Spa-Francorchamps. However, Mercedes currently sits 4th in the Constructors' Championship with 266 points, trailing Ferrari by 79 points. What we have seen since then is a pretty impressive delivery of updates to every single track, Andrew Shovlin said. To become a serious title contender, Mercedes needs to address several performance issues. The team has struggled early in the season, often finding itself in the midfield. However, there is optimism as the team has identified the necessary steps to improve and close the gap with the top cars. The third story is Wolff criticized over Mercedes' Newey approach as rivals agree deal. Mercedes chief Toto Wolff has been criticized for his failure to bring Formula One technical guru Adrian Newey to the Brackley-based outfit. Newey announced his shock departure from Red Bull earlier this year, with an exit date of early 2025 in place. The Brit, widely regarded as the greatest car designer in the sport's history, has helped deliver 13 championships in total since joining the team in 2006, with Red Bull claiming 6 constructors' titles during that period, as well as Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen securing 4 and 3 drivers' titles respectively. In the months following the announcement of his exit, the 65-year-old has been linked with a number of teams, most notably Ferrari, who were reported to have already agreed a lucrative deal for his signature at one stage. However, that was denied, and in the last couple of months Aston Martin have emerged as contenders, with reports now suggesting that Newey has agreed a deal with the team. Despite the clamor from most of the paddock to land the Red Bull guru, one team that have never really been in the running to recruit Newey is Mercedes, with team chief Wolff stating they were not looking to make a move. Given Mercedes' struggles to compete with Red Bull in recent years, that move to rule the team out has come under fierce criticism from former F1 team manager Peter Windsor, who worked alongside Newey in the early 1990s when he was at Williams. He should be hiring Newey now so they could get more championships. That's the most outstanding indictment of this whole thing, that Adrian is not even considering Mercedes from what we gather. Just as February began in 2024, it was announced Lewis Hamilton will join Ferrari in 2025. After a long period at Mercedes together with Toto Wolff, the Austrian team principal now has to fill the hole left by the seven-time world champion. Replacing a world champion that won 6 drivers' titles and another 8 constructors' championships is never easy.